So, to get this leaf spring mounted, what I've decided to do is, we took the front end off, obviously, you can, these are the two holes for mounting the radius arms, and then these are the two new holes I've drilled, and that's what we're going to use to mount the leaf spring. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use these long bolts. They're going to go completely through the front end. And then I have this is a kit that I bought at my local hobby shop. But it's like, it's all plastic hardware. But it comes with all these little adapters, so you can like thread this end in, and then you got a hole at this end so you can extend things. What I'm going to do is, it comes with plastic nuts. So what I'm going to do is, after I stick this through, I'm going to thread on a plastic nut. I'm going to tighten this one down. Not real tight, you know, you will strip it out. Just enough to hold it in there. Alright, so we got those installed. And then what I'm going to do is, I think I told you guys before, what I did was I took some plate, thin plate, brass plate, it's just thin sheet metal, but it's brass. I got that at my local hobby store as well, just because I'm thinking underneath there, you know, with all the black and whatnot, I just think the polished up brass shackles will look good. But I'm going to take the nut and bolt out of the end, and then that is going to slide over this stud. And then I'm going to take another nut, put that on. So we'll do this side before I get too far and it doesn't want to flex enough to go on. That screw out and slide it on. And now I'm going to take another plastic nut for this side. Thread that on. And basically what my goal is with these plastic nuts is to kind of act like a bushing, so that I can make all this stuff pretty snug and tight and it doesn't rattle around, but yet it'll still move. I only got one moving right now. There we go. And then I'll take my castle nuts, or the nylon, with the nylon lock nuts, and we'll put that on the end to hopefully keep it all together. And yeah, that one. Now, I did have to mount the leaf spring in the front of the front end, because ta-da! The flathead has arrived. So, what I've done is I kind of set that flathead in there, and just not going to be enough room. It ended up sticking out a little bit farther than I was expecting. So what I've decided to do is we move the leaf spring to the front, and then I'm moving the shocks to the rear. And then that's going to give me the room I need for the engine. And then another thing I've done is we picked up a micro servo. And what I'm going to do is we'll paint this black. But I have a few ideas with this. We might mount it in here and just have the horn sticking out. Or we might go lower and just have it sticking out the bottom like so. I think that might look a little better, because another thing I'm planning on doing is, with the limited amount of room, rather than running a piece of linkage from the servo out to the spindle, then another long one from the spindle to the other side, you know, like it's always set up on normal trucks. What I'm thinking about doing is using 2 links, and I'm going to make a bracket that'll hold them both even at the bottom. I know it's hard to see, guys, but yeah, let me see. I'm going to do something like that. That way I don't have to worry about trying to make another link, run on top of it. I just think that'll be better. It'll save me a little bit of space and not have to worry about running that extra arm out to the spindle. And with just running those 2 like that, I'm going to be able to run it a little bit lower and keep it out of the way. But yeah, I just wanted to get this. I wanted you guys to see what was going on. And that's where I'm at. So now the plan is we'll get this mounted back into the truck, and then we'll start seeing what we got to do up top. And what I'm thinking about doing is, for the top, for the perch. Oh, this is an extra leaf spring mount shackle that came with the leaf spring kit. And see, it's already got 2 holes in one, so I'm even thinking about, maybe something like that. And since there's 2 holes in the horn, I'll drill a second hole, that way it can't, rotate on me when it turns. So I'll put one screw in, and then a second one will lock it in so it can't spin, and then I'll be able to mount a link to each side. Sorry, I'm trying to watch the camera and do what I'm doing at the same time, so I know I'm getting it for you guys. So yeah, so that's my plan on that. We'll see how that works out. I really wanted to run the steering out of the side of the cow like you would see on an old school hot rod or rat rod, but number one, the geometry just isn't in these spindles to work like that. Even if I make a bracket, by the time I make a bracket that comes off of here to push and pull, then it's in the way. Maybe on the next one, but I just don't think that's going to work for me on this one. What else? So that's it. Let's get this thing bolted back in and see where this leaf spring is going to end up. This is my styrene floor jack. I have some wheels for it too, but just never got to them. So it kind of stayed like that. I'm hoping moving the shocks doesn't cause too much of a issue for me. I did kind of look at everything before I got started, and it looks like that shouldn't be a problem. But yeah, you guys know how that goes. While I have that out, I want to get a matching screw, because the one chrome one and the one black one drives me crazy. They're not even the same size. Tackle box works great. I think that thing was like $3 at Walmart. Okay, so well, that's not going to work. Turns out this screw must be slightly longer than what I've drilled out and tapped, so I seem to be bottoming out before I'm tightening up. It's compared to the other screw, well, it's not too far off. Maybe we can kiss it with a file a few times and make it happy. Everything seems to, kiss and touch, and it just doesn't want to tighten up, so it's real close. I feel like I could use maybe another turn on it. You know what, guys, I'm throwing another screw back in there for now. Looks like those shocks are leaning pretty far back now. We might have to drill a new hole for those. Alright. Shocks are definitely going to need to get a new hole drilled. They're, as you can see, they're leaning pretty far back at the bottom right now. I think if we bring the top back, they'll function a little bit better right now. I mean, they still work, they're just not happy. And then, there we go. That's what we got. Works pretty good. And then another thing I'm thinking too is I'd like to mount the servo like right in here. So I'm thinking about maybe trying to make something out of sheet metal that'll tie into the frame, hold the servo and the leaf spring mount all at one, rather than, you know, a few different things. Maybe I can kind of take some measurements and get something out on a piece of sheet metal that'll just have to fold up some tabs and, you know, something along those lines. I'm not sure if it'll get welded or there we go. It was sitting kind of funky for a sec. See, this servo fits in there like a glove. Just make some mounts that'll go up to it to hold it. We'll be golden. And then that'll get mounted down in there. I don't think it's gonna work like that though, with the horn coming out the front, which isn't a bad thing. I'll be happy with it, you know, hidden in the back, but I don't think we're gonna be able to do it that way just because of where the knuckles are, where these are. I think it's gonna have to go back farther. Yeah, like I think that'll work out good. Getting excited, guys. We get that leaf spring perch in there and that servo mounted, and then we can hook electrics up to it and drive it, cruise it around the house and see how it does. But it is far from finished. We got a long ways to go. I took a trip to the hobby shop today and obviously I got the micro servo, and then but what was it that I wanted to show you? Oh, this is a dark walnut wood. It's a little less than it's probably about an eighth, a little less than an eighth of an inch thick. It's real flimsy. Might even be a 16th thick. What's this say? Yeah, 16th by 3 inches by 24 inches. But anyway, the plan is for this stuff, once I get the bed built, I'm going to cut out, you know, like strips of wood, and we're going to do a dark walnut bed floor in it. And then, I don't know if you guys can see. But they're shaped like a T. So the goal is, once we get all the wood laid down, you know, we'll paint these like a silver, and they'll go in between the planks of wood, so it'll look like it has a really nice finished off bed. And I got a, I don't know if that's going to show up on camera either. But this is a company, I've never heard of them before, but it's called Parts by Parks. And it's a flathead finned oil filter. So, and it is actually metal. I'm not sure what kind of metal it is, but it is metal. And then it comes with some wires to use as tubing. But yeah, I'm thinking this will be really cool to mount, maybe like up on the firewall somewhere, because I want to make a brake master cylinder on this side. You know, maybe we'll do that out of styrene or something. I think there's somebody out there 3D printing them, so maybe we can get our hands on one of them. But we'll see. But yeah, I'm thinking on this side, having like a remote oil filter mounted on the firewall ought to look pretty cool with some hoses running to it. And then of course the motor. You know, we're gonna detail the motor. I just started sanding some of the grain out of it. I don't know how crazy I'm gonna get with it. It's really not that bad. I'm thinking maybe lots of primer. You know, we'll just put lots of coats of primer on it, and that'll clean it up the best as I think it needs to be. It looks great in my opinion. Again, thank you Nightcrawlers 3D. He did a great job. Got it to me very quick. I'm really happy with it. Got one of the wife's hair ties on there as a belt. I don't know if it's going to work long term. It's a little too round for me. We might need to get like an actual rubber band so it's flat and looks like a belt. But yeah, it was sitting on the sink, so I stole it. But it looks awesome in there. It doesn't sit there. Oh. So yeah, that's where we're at, guys. We got motor to paint, motor to mount and install, leaf spring perch still to do, servo mount to do, make sure my plan for the steering is going to work. I hope it works. Lots of finishing details. There's tons of work still to do to it. I am getting excited that the big stuff's almost done, and we might be able to cruise it around the house a little bit soon. But that's all, guys. Definitely bring you guys back in for a leaf spring perch and a servo mount and everything else we got to do, of course. But for right now, that's all. I just wanted to get you guys on board to see how we mounted that leaf spring to the front end, show you that the motor was in, and that's it, man. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Again, thank you Nightcrawlers 3D for the engine. Make sure you guys go over there and check him out. As far as I know, you can only get to him on Facebook. You can check him out on Facebook. Just punch in Nightcrawlers 3D, and he's got all kinds of cool stuff there. So definitely check him out. But that's all for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all the great comments. Thank you for all the new subscribers. I appreciate it. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks a lot. Take care.